Welcome to the 43rd Annual Delaware Women's Hall of Fame. I'm Melanie Ross-Levin, Director of the Office of Women's Advancement and Advocacy. Joining me tonight are several members of the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame Committee, including Brenda Wise, Chair of the committee, Nisha Lodhavia, Vice Chair, along with members Lauren C.W. Vela and Tara Smith. Together, we will MC this evening's program and introduce this year's remarkable honorees. To kick off the evening, it's my pleasure to welcome members of the Delaware State Police Honor Guard for the presentation of the colors. Please stand if you are able. Following the colors presentation, we will have the national anthem sung by Cambria Sturdivant of Middletown High.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran gallop on bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you to the State Police Honor Guard for that presentation, and thank you to Cambria for lending her talents tonight. You may be seated. Our heartfelt gratitude goes to the event sponsors. Please join me in thanking them for making tonight's event possible. Ladies and gentlemen, let's also extend our sincerest thanks to all the state and elected officials who took time out to attend tonight's event. Please join me in recognizing our officials who are in attendance this evening.
Good evening. I am Brenda Wise, Chair of the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame Committee. I would like to begin by thanking the members of the committee, the Office of Women's Advancement and Advocacy, and the volunteers for putting in the efforts tonight to put on such a great event. Please join me in thanking them. I'd also like to recognize our partnership with the YWCA Delaware to collect hygiene products supporting their Home Life Management Center. This program offers a wide range of support to women and families so that they can become gainfully employed, permanently housed, and completely self-sufficient. Thank you to everyone who contributed to today's collection. We sincerely appreciate your support.
We also have with us two people who need little introduction and who have been enthusiastic supporters and attendees to the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame events. Our governor, John Carney, and first spouse, Tracy Quillen Carney. Before they join us on stage, I'd like to take a moment to share my appreciation to the administration for their partnership and support on so many accomplishments for Delaware women and girls. From paid parental leave for state workers, to paid family and medical leave, to much needed investments in our child care system, to diversifying our judiciary, we thank you. And for investments in early learning and literacy, and for getting Dolly freaking Parton to come to Wilmington, and heightening awareness of the importance of trauma-informed care, we thank you, Tracy. All of this has been very much appreciated. Please join me on stage to provide your welcoming remarks.
If you look in your program, you'll notice that my name is not included as one of these people to welcome remarks. But I only got a couple months left, so I'm going to take the microphone anyway. I would normally be watching the Philadelphia Phillies right now, who are in the thing. The score, last I checked, was 1-0, but I am too nervous to sit and watch the game, so I'm happy to be with you, happier than ever to be with all of you this evening. We have an incredible honorees, 4 inductees into the Women's Hall of Fame. I'm going to leave the introductions to those who've been designated to do that. But I've been sitting next to Mrs. Anna Marie Leo, who told me, I'm not saying this without clearance, that she's 94 years old, and she's still teaching. And as we were out in the cocktail area, I noticed that a lot of the women there said that they had taken lessons from, how many have had lessons from her dance studio? Look at all these folks here, all the way in the back. Incredible. Well, I wanted to offer my heartfelt thanks to the office and to the board for the work that they do every day. It's really incredible, 40-plus years of these ceremonies. And if you have not seen the portraits of those who are in the Hall of Fame, you need to see them. Teresa Walton, I don't know if she's here tonight, painted them all, and each of them capture some essence of the women that are honored as part of that Hall of Fame. Many of those women I've had the great privilege of working with in state government over the past 40 years. And so if you haven't seen it, they're presently at the University of Delaware at their Learner School, and they will be there, I understand, until January, and they move around the state. So congratulations to the 4 honorees tonight and all those who are here. This is the safest place in Delaware right now. We have more state troopers in this room than just a little bit. My Hall of Famer, Tracy.
Thank you, Hon. And thank you one more time for the privilege of this podium. Melanie and your team, Brenda and your team, the Honor Guard, Cambria, who sang a national anthem in a key that would have killed me had I attempted any of those notes. So well done. Congratulations, of course, to the 2024 honorees. with thanks on behalf of all Delawareans, whether they know you or not. Like everyone here, and as John said, I look forward to learning more about you from those who know you best, and to hearing more from you about what means the most to you. I had a tight 4 minutes prepared. And those of you who know me as a recovering speechwriter know that I borderline obsessively prepare. It was about leadership, trends both concerning and hopeful. You would have loved it, but. Then I got up this morning and read the obituary and tributes from women she had mentored for Delaware Women Hall of Famer Carolyn Smithson-Berger. And there it was, the embodiment of everything I wanted to say. I did not know Carol Berger well, but like many of you, I felt the impact of her life. She had a 34-year career, starting as a trainee and concluding as president and CEO of Bell Atlantic, Delaware. And that wasn't even close to the most impressive thing about her. She's in the Delaware Business Hall of Fame, as well as this one, chaired the Business Roundtable, and sat on boards that represent the full range of our civic life. And none of those things are the most impressive thing about her. Carol Berger embodied the conception of success as not just what we make of our own opportunities, but the quality of opportunity we create for others, for the people around us, and for those who will come after us. She did not take an antagonistic approach to leadership, something we've seen more and more regardless of profession, party, or policy position, when some leaders, men and women, act as if there's something noble about not getting along with people. Ms. Berger lived the truth of what Ms. Angelo taught us. People will never forget how you made them feel. With that, let me share the first paragraph of Ms. Berger's obituary, which, by the way, I'm sure she wrote herself. Quote, Carol was born in Abington, PA. She married her junior high school sweetheart, Alan W. Berger, Jr., in 1962. Their marriage of 44 years was the joy of her life until his death in 2007. Their mutual interests were the New Jersey shore, sailing, golf, music, and the theater. That's what she put first. Generosity of spirit and interpersonal respect, with a value of community and connection acted out in boardrooms and living rooms, is what pushes toward progress. That's leadership. Getting things done in the world that is while pushing toward the world that ought to be. Thanks to all of you, our honorees, past and present, and so many others in this room who keep on pushing.
Thank you both for those kind words and for joining us at tonight's event. At this time, I'd like to call on Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long to honor past members of the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. It's always hard following Tracy or LBR, but Governor Carney's smart. He whispered to me, that's why I speak first, he said, before Tracy. Good. It's a wise man, a wise man. It is awesome to be here, and let's give a round of applause again to this remarkable planning committee, to Brenda, to Melanie. We are just so excited to be here, and I too, like the governor, I've been to every year that I can remember for a couple decades, and I do not remember seeing so many men in suits. Colonel, thank you for that this evening. In sincerity, I have the wonderful opportunity to recognize those who've been able to join us tonight who have been past recipients. But before doing so, again, in commentary following our wonderful First Lady, who sometimes we get interchanged and we just kind of go along with it, it really is about that stint of leadership and the different forms of leadership. And in this room, we have women who have brokered national leadership roles. We've had women who have performed nationally and danced, and you do look remarkable for 94, Miss Anne-Marie. And Julissa, to you, in those quiet moments with patients when they are struggling and they have no one else to turn to. And then to Colonel Zebley, the fearless leadership, the passion that it has taken to mobilize and to move you incredibly forward. And then to Raye, you know, who's had those journeys with the coalition and others when nobody thought or turned away and looked a different direction. We are here to celebrate you. But before doing that, I was given a task, and I'm going to follow it. And she's starting to think, is she going to follow her instructions? Yes, I am going to follow my instructions. So I am going to introduce at this time those who've been able to join us. And if I miss you and you are present and you have been a previous honoree and we miss you, please at the end stand and give us a wave. Because sometimes these leaders, they just kind of sneak in on us. And that has happened to me in years past. And I don't want anyone who has been a past Hall of Famer to go unrecognized. And we had a few that were here earlier, like our House Speaker Longhurst and others who were here for the reception but departed. So right now, I'm going to start in no particular order, but I'd like to have them stand. Remain standing, because I want you to blush while you're standing. And then we'll give a round of applause. So we're going to start at this time with Dr. Annie Norman, our wonderful librarian. I don't believe BB made it, Miss Beatrice Coker. Oh, where? See, BB. Oh, my goodness, Miss Beatrice Coker, if you will stand. How did you slip in here and I not see you? Usually in the church pew together. Next, Superintendent Deborah Wicks. Deborah Wicks, I know you're here, our Smyrna person, girl. Next, our Honorable Jan Jordan. I know you are here, Judge. And we also, I believe, was here early. Maybe she's still here, Honorable Karen Peterson. And if Senator Peterson is not here, we know we have our remarkable, my co-chair literally sat next to me for years, Senator Margaret Rose Henry. Senator, thank you. Oh, y'all are cheating. Remember, we're supposed to hold the applause. Margaret, why do you always get so much applause? I swear, that always happens. Senator Nancy Cook. I know you're in the House, Senator Cook. Please stand, Nancy. And then, of course, I know y'all are going to have to hold the applause. I know you're going to be tempted to do. Dr. Reba Ross Hollingsworth. See, I knew that would happen, and I knew that would be our governor. And then Tanya Cauley, where is she? Is she here? I thought I saw her maybe at the reception. And then how about Teresa Del Tofo? Teresa was here as well. There you are. Thank you. Who else is here that we missed? Anyone? Oh my goodness. Well, she gets to speak next. How do I forget my partner in crime? Lisa Blunt Rochester. Let's give a round of applause for these remarkable, remarkable, remarkable women. Thank you. And before we turn this over to LBR, Lisa Blunt Rochester, I do want to take a moment and just say on behalf of Governor Carney and I, it has truly been such an incredible honor to work with a remarkable team with the Women's Advocacy Office. You know, as a mother, as a woman myself, being out there, being in the member of the General Assembly, and again, to all the members of the General Assembly here this evening, our leadership, our team, Melissa and others who've come out, I say thank you. And I know to our Treasurer Davis, who was mentioned earlier, and to Lydia York and others who've come out, we know we are only in this path because of the trailblazers who went before us. And before us this evening, First Lady Carney, you addressed one of the persons we were going to recognize, and we are going to have a moment of remembrance, probably around 30 seconds of reflection, where I will ask that we sit in a moment of silence or a moment of reflection to think about three of our incredible Hall of Famers who went on this year. We already heard the remarkable story of Carol Berger, such a businesswoman, a trailblazer who led with her heart, the CEO and president of Bell Atlantic. Other ones who went on, those of us in the General Assembly, we were very saddened when the Honorable Myrna Bair, when she had passed. And we know her work and her teaching as a professor also at UD. And so for Ms. Bair and Senator Bair, she was one of a kind and certainly was a real trailblazer. And then finally, we know a couple years back when we were able to honor at her older age, Ann Jaffe, who truly, for those of us, as we've coming off of October 7th yesterday and what attacks that happened in Israel, when we've had the opportunity, I was able to speak at her memorial at the JFC this past year, Anna Jaffe, our Holocaust survivor. And so these three women, Myrna Bair, Carolyn Berger, and Ann Jaffe, they deserve from us now a moment of silence or reflection, please. Amen. So, transitioning to a positive sense, because that's what those ladies had, an embodiment of positive energy, positive leadership. and being proud of the legacy. I just want to transition lastly to say thank you and to honor those who are here, but also to their remarkable families who are present and their co-workers. So we know that all of the ladies being honored this evening recognize that nothing is done without the team around them. And so we thank those of you who came out. We thank those of you who have sponsored. And we look forward to many, many more years of continued support of the Women's Advocacy Office, their team, as well as the honorees. So when you speak about honoree and you speak about someone who's going to pump you up, because you are looking like you had the food, and you're getting a little postprandial to me, which in nursing terms means people after dinner, they look a little tired. So we have a speaker that's going to rev you up and get us excited before we honor our 4 remarkable women. And we all know that this person, LBR, is a leader with bold results. I've always coined that. You still haven't used that. Lisa Blunt Rochester. Someday she will put that in her logo. But with her team, it is truly my honor that we have with us a trailblazer. You know, she's been in the governor's cabinet in the past. She worked her way up. She understands what it is to be a woman at every level, what it is to feed the children, to do the work, to have to lead, to be criticized, to stand in the moment. And we know when that horrible insurrection occurred, who was praying, who was leading, who was in that balcony. It was our own Lisa Blunt Rochester. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's turn it over to our Congresswoman, soon-to-be Senator, Lisa Blunt Rochester.
Of course. Okay, thank you, Bethany. She has put a bar high, telling me I have to hype you up. I started, my pickup was 7 this morning to go to a middle school in Dover, and so I'm as sleepy as the rest of y'all. Just put it out there. But truly, it is an honor, and I think you can't help but feel some energy, some excitement, and some hope as we celebrate these inductees into the Hall of Fame. And so first of all, to our Lieutenant Governor, for her hard work, determination, how she has done things at the height, whether it is in the Senate and overseeing the Senate, to being on the streets of our state, working with individuals who maybe had substance use issues or mental health issues or COVID. Please give Bethany Hall Long a round of applause for everything she has done for our state. Yeah. And I personally want to thank her for that LBR, Leader with Bold Results. I keep telling my team to use it. They just won't use it. I love it. And also to our governor and our first woman. I don't call her the first lady. She's the first woman because she's bad like that. To Tracy and John, thank you for being here. And to all of you, to the committee who put this together, and to the honorees, the other Hall of Famers. It's good to see all of the other Hall of Famers in the room. And tonight, as this is 43 years, and this is actually the oldest annual event that commemorates women in the state of Delaware. So we are happy to be here, and we are happy to see our legislators here, the women, and I'm supposed to talk about reflections on progress. And I first want to start with the honorees and what progress they have made and what kind of trailblazers they are. And I won't go into their backgrounds, but I feel a connection to them in different ways. Julissa, from mental health advocacy, caring about the fact that you're a social worker. I come from a family of social workers. Yes, yes to all the social workers out there. Championing LGBTQ+ rights and caring for your community, particularly the Latinx community. Thank you. Now, what I did learn tonight was that about 10 years or so ago, we were at the LACC gala, and I outbid her for a bicycle, and she is still carrying that burden. And so for her son, who's about to get married next week, her family, I just want to make sure that you know I am giving you that bicycle, which is now a clothes rack in my spare bedroom. You get the bicycle, you get a bicycle, you get a bicycle, you get a bicycle. So, and then to our other honoree, Anna Marie Leo. Some of you know me, and you know I am a dancer. I love dance. Started at the age of 6, and I was always kind of envious of the people that went to your dance school. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, totally honest. Like even the people who raised their hands, you are the epitome of excellence, grace, beauty. You help us to understand the pain when our feet hurt, but you still smile. You do what you have to do. And so I just want to say thank you so much for creating strong dancers, strong individuals, and for being a beacon of light to the state of Delaware. To Colonel Melissa Zebley. Okay, now, when I said somebody was super bad, she's super bad. She is super bad. And I'm so excited to see you in your role. You know, the reflections on the progress has to highlight the progress we've made across all sectors. And so I remember when our first woman governor, Ruth Ann Minner, commissioned me to work in investigating the state police for racial and sexual discrimination. And Nate McQueen was one of my partners in that work. And we came out with a road plan, a roadmap. And to see you here today as the first colonel of the Delaware State Police, come on. Congratulations, congratulations. And to Raye Jones Avery, my sister friend. Yes, look, they're already clapping for you, Raye. Your leadership in education, in healthcare, in the arts, in justice, and how you uplift everyone who comes into the sphere of your presence. I'm so grateful to you. I am here because you were one of the people that was the wind beneath my wings. So congratulations to Raye Jones Avery. So I'm going to be very quick and just say, yes, we have made progress. We still have progress to make. Bottom line. Bottom line. When you think about the fact that in Delaware, we still, as women, only make 81 cents on the dollar compared to men, we still have progress to make. 63% of families living in poverty are led by single mothers in this state. We still have progress to make. The issue of maternal mortality, and Melissa, Mimi Minor-Brown can tell you, because we're working on this. The fact that black women die 3 times at the rate of our white counterparts, and that all women in this country, the mortality rate is going up instead of down. We still have work to do. But I am excited about the progress. I just looked at, looking at our women here in Delaware in government. Our lieutenant governor, a woman. Our state auditor, a woman. Our state treasurer, a woman. Our attorney general, a woman. Our speaker of the house, a woman. The whip, a woman. The members of the General Assembly have increased. We see it in all facets of life in this state. And so I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be inspired by what you see in front of you. And I will say that even as I look to the future, I read an article the other day in the New York Times, and I had not realized that Carol Moseley Braun was the first black senator woman in the country. And it was a quarter of a century until the next Kamala Harris. 25 years. But from Kamala Harris to LaFonza Butler, it was 7. And potentially, maybe there will be no gap at all. That's progress. We are making progress. And so I want to end and dedicate this poem to all of you who are working to make progress, especially when it looks scary. The poem that I wrote is called Don't Look, because sometimes we look and we get scared. We don't want to start that business. We don't want to raise that family. We get scared. So here it goes. Don't look at where I came from. Look at where I'm going. So I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth and my people came from way down south. Don't look at where I came from. Look at where I'm going. I'm a black woman trying to get equal pay, 62 cents on a dollar, lifting sick bodies, flipping burgers, waiting tables, makes me want to holler. But don't look at where I came from. Look at where I'm going. Nourishing my growing bodies, putting food on the table. I do what I have to because by God I know I'm able. Filling my mind is a big part, but filling my spirit in particular. And reaching out to positive people and getting rid of sick folks who are constantly tripping. Yeah, don't look at where I came from. Look at where I'm going. Like the song they sang in the 70s, I'm singing real loud. Don't get in my way because ain't no stopping us now. So for the last time I'm telling, I don't mean to be prissy, but don't look at where I came from because you just might miss me.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Hall Long and Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester for your continued support of the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame. It is now my pleasure to introduce tonight's first inductee, H. Raye Rice Jones Avery. An innovator with 35 years of public service dedicated to arts-based community development, education equity, reproductive and racial justice, and urban policy. Her leadership spans organizations like the United Way of Delaware, Community Action of Greater Wilmington, Delaware League for Planned Parenthood, and the Christina Cultural Arts Center. In 1991, Raye became the first African-American woman to lead the Christina Cultural Arts Center, where she spearheaded a $3 million capital campaign, securing its current location on Market Street. She is also a co-founder of the Kuumba Academy Charter School, now celebrating 26 years of educating students. A socially conscious artist, she has produced 2 recordings and currently hosts a monthly jazz series at the Delaware Art Museum. Her accolades include the 2021 Governor's Award for the Arts and the 2023 University of Delaware Presidential Medal of Distinction. Above all, Raye cherishes her role as a caregiver to her mother and the legacy she has built with her children and grandchildren. Please join me in watching the following video to hear more about Raye's incredible impact.
Over 20 years ago, Raye heard a concern and a cry from parents in the Wilmington area about their kids' educational needs. So Christina at that time still has an excellent early childhood education program, but the parents came to Raye and said, okay, when they leave Christina, what's going to happen with my child? And Raye led a coalition of parents and board and community members to found the Kuumba Academy Charter School.
I can remember thinking, what has this crazy lady gotten me involved in now? And as we sat at the table and talked about it, and you figured out that this was something that had to be done, you had a dynamic leader who was there for you and working with you, it wasn't a fear anymore. It was more of, how are we going to get this done?
One of the things I say about Raye is that she suffers no fools. So if she walks into a room, whether it be the governor's office or the mayor's office or the president of the university or whoever, she knows what is needed for the children. She comes armed with facts. She is able to make the case and has been working for the children of this community for a very long time and continues to do so.
You know, she's the first one to tell you, it's not easy, you know, and knowing that it's not easy and what we have to fight through is what makes Raye. But what really makes her is that no matter how deep or hard the task is, she's sitting right there beside you. She's not asking you to do anything that she's not willing to do or will help you do to get it done.
She has blended her creativity as an artist herself with her leadership skills and her passion and her advocacy for the community. So that has spread over these years, not just the Christina Cultural Arts Center, but in her advocacy for an excellent educational opportunity for children in the city of Wilmington. She led the Neighborhood Schools Act in the early days of desegregation in this community. She has served on the Reading Consortium. She helped co-found the Wilmington Center for Education Equity and Policy. And all of that is based on the foundation, as I said, of wanting top quality educational experience, education and creative experience for the children in the city of Wilmington.
Our kids are starving for so many things, so many good things, that a place like Christina Cultural Arts Center and Kaumba Academy gives them a place to come, a place to be, and a place to learn. And to learn from people that look like themselves and other people. It tells you about our culture. We talk about other cultures. It gives you the ability to go anywhere in this world and be able to acclimate yourself to what's going on without fear. You're just as proud as anybody else. So again, we don't get them like her, but we need them like her.
Because of her dynamic contributions to Delaware's art world and drive to bring the arts to all, we present this award and officially induct H. Raye Rice Jones Avery into the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame.
A story, let it come, let it come. A story, let it come. Come on, choir. A story, let it come, let it come. A story, let it come. Not so very long ago, in a small, quaint village, once rich with bravery, now ravaged by greed, a beloved village woman walked the streets lined with broken glass, greeting her neighbors each day with a joyful noise. And one October day, the village woman placed a huge basket of sweets and treats near a tree planted by the water. She then proposed a game to the neighborhood children. She made the children stand 100 feet away from the tree. And the children were all girls, all uniquely different in personality and hairstyle and body type, with skin of vanilla, cafe au lait cinnamon, and midnight blue. Now the village woman announced that the girl who reached the basket of sweets first would get all of the sweets and treats in the basket. So each girl got into position. They were excited, they were laughing, and they were free-spirited as children should be. The woman shouted, "Ready, steady, go!" Now you got to use your imagination. What do you think happened? What do you think happened when these girls started towards the sweets? Imagine. It was a glorious sight to see. The girls all held each other's hands. They ran together, hand in hand, to the tree. They gathered the baskets of sweets. They divided the sweets and the treats equally among themselves. And they enjoyed a very delicious bites and bites and bites. And so when the woman asked them, why did they do so? Why didn't one girl or several of them compete against each other to get to the basket first? They answered in unison, Ubuntu. Ubuntu. How can one of us be happy when all of the others are sad? Ubuntu is an ancient African word meaning humanity to others. Ubuntu. I am because we are. So So this is the lesson of sharing and sacrifice that we must spread throughout our democracy. We cannot legislate being human one to another. Y'all gonna know this word before you leave, Ubuntu. Turn to somebody and say, I am because you are. You know we gotta have a little church before we leave, right? One people, one sky, one moon, one cry, for I am you and you are I. Greetings to our dignitaries. Congratulations to fellow Hall of Fame recipients. Thank you for your hard work. Brenda didn't tell you she was my student. Did you say that, Brenda? She grown now. Little Brenda was my student at the Christina Cultural Arts Center. And she went to North Carolina A&T. Aggie Pride. That's the only college at Christina that the kids know about because Mr. Ken went there. So again, thank you. And where's Emily? I want to thank Emily especially for all of her hard work. Emily, there you go. Please hold your applause. I do have to acknowledge my secret nominators, Lynn Howard and Kristen Williams. We've known each other for a long, long time. Lynn said, what did you say, Lynn? I either build you up or beat you down. And my soon-to-be senator from the great state of Delaware, my sister Lisa, she also participated. When I just do this in groups, Christina Cultural Arts Center family, Kaumba Academy, the National Coalition Stand Up of 100 Black Women Delaware chapter, so people can see who you are. And a special acknowledgement to our Dr. Mildred Ofusu. Today is her birthday, so she thought it not robbery to be here. On her happy birthday, sister. I'm grateful to have my blood here, Brandy Bancoli, my son in love, and my daughter, and my grandchildren, Olufala and Ara Oluwa. They had to teach me how to speak. This is my family. Y'all don't see them because they just moved back. They just moved back from North Carolina. Now, Ubuntu, I am because you are, but you are because I gave birth to you. So let's get that straight. So, women, on our chins, we carry nations. We have the power to end the suffering of humanity, and I bow to all of the great people in this room, and especially to sheroes in Delaware that faithfully serve yet go unsung. Real sheroes are the ones you don't hear about, the ones that are doing the jobs that no one wants to do. We learned that in COVID, right, when some people had to come out, right? The ones that are fighting against challenging odds, the ones that are fighting for their next breath. You're in this room right now, and I want you to know you matter. And we live in a world where we're overdosing on celebrity. And I often remind my son, who is an actor, and my grandchildren, don't be concerned about fame, be concerned about being the best that you can be. I was over my friend Tony and Tara Allen's house. I went to the prayer breakfast at Delaware State last week, 2 weeks ago. It was wonderful, but it started at 7 o'clock in the morning. And Tony called me. He said, I want you to come. I said, well, you have to make a room for me. And they have this wonderful quote in their home that says, to get to the rainbow, you have to go through the mud. That's Eric Roberson. So I do want to thank you. We have much to do, family, to protect our human rights. You know that. But change begins with our children, because children are taught both to love and to hate. So strive for an open heart, be open to loving, open to forgiving, open to adventure, and open to fully living the possibilities of you. Open hearts and giving hands make our communities and the world a more sane place in which to live. Thank you. Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you, Raye. That was very inspirational. So good evening, everyone. My name is Tara Smith, and I am a member of the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame Committee. I am honored to introduce our second nominee, Julissa Coriano, a native of Puerto Rico and a dedicated clinical social worker and sexuality therapist. In her private practice, Julissa focuses on serving the Latinx community, particularly the undocumented LGBTQIA individuals and victims of human trafficking. She holds advanced degrees in clinical social work and human sexuality. Together with her son Noah, Julissa co-founded Orgullo Delaware, the state's first organization dedicated to clinically supporting LGBTQIA identified Latines and their families. Orgullo Delaware also provides essential training for medical and mental health professionals on the unique needs of the Latinx community. Additionally, Julissa is a co-founder of the Delaware Sexuality and Gender Collective. Let's watch this video to hear more about the remarkable Julissa Coriano.
My mom has been doing advocacy work her entire life. And so I think I knew growing up, like, oh, my mom does a lot of stuff. I think I just kind of had that kind of like concept, but I knew it was important. I knew it helped people. And I think she was always really clear about saying, like, who am I to not do this? Like, if this needs to be done and no one has stepped up to do it, then like somebody has to do it.
She will put all her power in her yes. And when she sees something that's in her lane that she could bring light, forget it, she's there. She goes thinking, for this project, this is the people that I should be surrounded, should bring in for it to be successful.
I always call it her database. Like, I feel like her mind works like a 1940s switchboard where they're like, you know, plugging stuff into the walls. And so if you're saying, oh, I really want to work on this and this, my mom was like, oh, database. I know this person does that, and that person does that, and this person knows someone at the News Journal who can do that. And so I think even if it's not within her time capacity or maybe within her passion to take on, then she can database stuff around and connect people with 100 resources to make sure that things get solved.
She doesn't give up. Why doesn't she doesn't give up? And it's not about money, it's because of her heart. And I think that's the motor that keeps her going, when she could see somebody going from a depression or issue to strive. And she could bring resources to that person so they could flourish. I think that's her. Some people be a nice fat check. Julissa's like the results of me helping this individual, the results of me being a part of a movement that can make changes.
I would say the biggest change that I see directly because of her impact is a lot of those bridges between communities. You know, we say all the time, like, oh, I wish we had this, I wish we had this, and we often do have it, we just don't know that it's there. And so I think that the work that she's done to really bridge people within certain types of work, but also like outside of that, right? And so really bridging the LGBT community with the Latino community, really bridging the Latino community with like the Muslim community, and really making sure that we're all acting as one Delaware, we're all supporting each other, we're all lifting each other up. I think that this kind of like web that she has built is gonna live in Delaware forever. And, you know, it might not have her name on it, and I don't know if she would ever take credit for it or say, you know, she would say, my mom says all the time of like, oh, like I just like want to get all my friends together. Like I just want everyone to like hang out and talk. And I'm not doing like, you know, it's not an event. It's just like, I just want to get everyone to, you know, get to know each other and what they do. And wow, what an impact that has, right? Like this has just become such an extensive community resource and community map.
For her dedication and work on behalf of Delaware's LGBTQIA and Latinx communities, Julissa, please come to the stage and officially be inducted into the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame.
Hola. They should have waited till after I spoke to play the video, no? Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our incredible elected officials for being here, to our past honorees, and to our honorees who are here tonight with me. I'm going to keep it very short. I'm not used to speaking in groups. I'm a therapist, so I'm more one-on-one. And I don't want to keep anybody from the Phillies game, Governor. But I think it's first spouse Tracy who's wearing her pin, who I think wants to. And can I just say, I appreciate your bike story, Congresswoman, but you already told me the wheels are flat, the streamers are gone, not sure if the basket is still intact. Oh, but it's mine. I appreciate that. Muchísimas gracias. I'm going to be modeling this speech after me, because I'm not used to giving speeches. So it'll be short, sweet, but impactful. Okay? Definitely thank you to the members of the Women's Hall of Fame for this incredible honor, recognizing my commitment to the communities that I have. Throughout my life, I have lived by two mantras. The first, one person can make a difference. Whether it is smiling at someone at the right moment when they needed a bit of hope, or answering the phone to guide someone who is feeling scared and lost on what to do. When we lead with our hearts, we can all make a difference in the lives of others. The great Pedro Albizu Campos, the father of independence of Puerto Rico, once said, "Los sueños de nosotros abren el camino para los sueños de los demás." Our dreams pave the way for the dreams of others. And so maybe we don't recognize and realize, but that's absolutely true. Our dreams of being a social worker, of becoming a teacher or a nurse or an elected official, our dreams of helping people have led us to work that directly impacts the lives so that dreams of others are realized. The second mantra by which I live my life is a very indigenous belief that is ingrained in my soul, and that is that we just do not have the right to exist here. We do not have the right just to take. We must give back. We must plant the seed so that others, present and in the future, can carry on our work. And I feel so strongly about that. I remember having a conversation with Noah once. I'm an Aries, a March Aries, so we're very feisty and passionate. And I'm Puertorriqueña, so I'm double that intensity sometimes. Pero I was talking to Noah, and I remember saying, okay, Dale, what's your plan? What's your plan for giving back to the universe, for giving back to society, to the world? You just can't hang out with your little friends and do nothing. What's your plan? Y Noah says, Mommy, cálmate, calm down. I'm only 11. Noah's a Leo, so he was only thinking about like hugs and apples, I'm sure. He wasn't thinking about like world domination like I always am thinking, right? But that is, social justice is so ingrained in my soul, and I've lived every day embodying that. And so I share and dedicate this honor with so many tonight. I first need to thank the universe for choosing me to do this powerful work. I'm so incredibly grateful that I am able to genuinely and passionately advocate and defend the most underserved and marginalized communities. It really is truly an honor. Le dedico este honor a todas las personas que cruzaron la frontera caminando abajo del sol caliente, sin agua, sin comida, solamente con el sueño y la esperanza de llegar aquí buscando una vida mejor. I dedicate this honor to all of the brave people who have traveled exhaustively under the hot sun, without water, without food, only with the dream and hope to make it here for a better life. I dedicate this honor to the LGBTQIA community, especially to the incredible trans community. It is an honor to be able to use my voice to advocate for your rights and fiercely challenge those that think they can debate your existence. No one has the right to invalidate your life or your identity. Always remember that you are powerful. To the victims of human trafficking, labor trafficking, and sexual exploitation. I dedicate this honor to you as a sign of hope that we will always be here to help and to protect you when you are ready to come forward. I dedicate this honor to the loves of my life, my nieces and nephews, Quentin, Bailey, Natalia, Isabella, Brenna, and baby Jason. Titi loves you so much. Also to my parents, Amadine and Julia Carvalho, who are here. And finally, I dedicate this honor to my son Noah, my social justice soulmate. Such an incredible son and brilliant colleague. The universe has matched us up perfectly in this fight against injustices. I'm so proud of you. You've done a tremendous job of carrying on the seeds that I have planted and of planting your own seeds. The many years of being dragged to community events and protests, and the many years of you being voluntold to help out have led you to discover your passions. I thank the universe every day for you. You are my greatest honor. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you, Julissa. That was beautiful. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, my name is Nisha Lodhavia, and I have the honor of serving as the Vice Chair of the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame Committee. It is my great pleasure to reintroduce our next nominee, Miss Anna Marie Leo. She is a cherished Wilmington native who, at 94 years young, continues to teach dance. Let me say that again. At 94 years young, she continues to teach dance. Let's give her a round of applause. In 1951, Anna Marie founded the Anna Marie Dance Studio in the basement of her home. Over the years, as the studio grew, she became a national icon in the world of dance. She is renowned for her role as both a convention teacher and a competition judge. She has also conducted master classes for prestigious organizations such as Dance Caravan, Dance Olympus, and Dance Makers Incorporated. Many of Miss Anna Marie's former students, some of you who are here with us tonight, have achieved success on Broadway, on cruise lines, and in international dance companies. Today, she proudly watches her legacy thrive under the leadership of her niece, Ashley. Let's take a moment to celebrate the incredible Miss Anna Marie Leo as we hear from those who know her best.
If you live in Delaware, everybody knows the Anna Marie Dance Studio. She has her own legacy. She's been teaching for 70 years.
There are a lot of dance studios. What has set her apart has been her love and her passion to make sure that the faculty she brings in has been professional and that she provides a safe place to kind of give of our hearts and souls and be vulnerable.
And what is special about Miss Anna Marie is that she welcomes anybody, no matter what age, what sex, what color, which culture, into her life to learn how to dance.
She wanted more than anything, more than finances, to make sure that everyone who could dance does. Dance and the arts in general are so important. Not every kid is typical. We alone at the studio have so many neurodivergent kids, but dance is a universal language. Dance is that place where people can come together with the same intention and kind of live things out in a equal space. And it really touches a part of people's heart and emotions that you can't always utilize in words. We had a student, again, just graduated. She had a ton of just life grenades thrown at her. And it would have been so easy for her to turn in a poor direction. We kept this child dancing through graduation, and she wasn't paying. It was never about that. It was always about, and Anna Marie's always been prideful of, if you can't help people along the way, it's not worth doing this. For me, that's the kid I want to help, because again, what 1% of our students are going to go off and be professional. Now, Anna Marie has quite a resume of dancers that have gone on to Broadway. But we also have a ton of kids like this one that may never dance again, but I know the impact that we made in her life, and she's gonna go off and be an amazing human that she might otherwise have not been able to do if it had not been for this studio and the things that Anna Marie instilled in us as a faculty to be there greater than the business.
Well, she's like the godmother. Do you know what I mean? Like the godfather? She's the godmother. I mean, people look up to her, other dance studios, they all look up to her and respect her.
She has built such a beautiful relationship of studio owners within the state of Delaware. She's not afraid to make other people successful. And that's something she's really always tried to strive and make sure I understood, that there's room for everyone and we should be inspired by one another versus being threatened by one another.
They value her and her knowledge and her experience, and they want to learn more from her. So it's pretty awesome to see it happening.
So, for the countless dancers whose lives have been touched by her incredible passion and unwavering dedication to dance, I am honored to invite Anna Marie Leo to the stage to accept her induction into the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'd much rather be giving a class. It's a lot easier than doing this. But I am going to read this. I'd like to thank you all for this great honor given to me tonight. It has always been my pleasure to work with the local community, and because of you entrusting me with your children for over 7 decades, I'm grateful to have reached this point. Without all of your love and support, I wouldn't be standing here tonight. I'm barely standing. I opened my studio in September of 1951, just 1 month after marrying my husband, Mr. Bill. You looking at me? Not knowing if I would have 5 students or 75. Mr. Bill was always there to support me, even when having to make a giant globe for recital scenery and then wheeling it by hand from the studio, which was in our basement at the time, up the Philadelphia Pike to Mount Pleasant High School. People thought he was crazy. I would never have imagined back then that I'd be here now at age 94, oh my God, accepting this great honor. I thank you from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of my tap shoes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Anna Marie. Good evening. My name is Lauren Vella, and I'm a member of the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame Committee. Our final honoree tonight is Colonel Melissa A. Zebley, a lifelong Delawarean and a distinguished 32-year veteran of the Delaware State Police. Colonel Zebley's journey of service began at St. Mark's High School, where she discovered her calling through the State Police Explorer Program. Selected for the 61st Delaware State Police Academy class in 1992, she embarked on a remarkable career, serving as a patrol trooper, training academy officer, patrol sergeant, director of public information, and troop commander. In 2010, Colonel Zebley rose to the rank of major, joining the state police executive staff as an administrative officer. She managed critical areas such as budgeting, training, and human resources. She later transitioned to operations officer, overseeing the Newcastle County Patrol Troopers, criminal investigations, and the statewide traffic section. In 2019, she broke new ground as the first woman to lead internal affairs, information technology, and the Office of Strategic Development as deputy superintendent. In July 2020, Colonel Zebley made history as the first woman appointed superintendent of the Delaware State Police. She leads Delaware's largest law enforcement agency, overseeing more than 700 sworn troopers and 300 professional staff. Those who know her best describe Colonel Zebley as unflappable, incredibly humble, a giving mentor, and a courageous leader. Her service has made Delaware safer. Let's learn more about Melissa's exceptional journey in the following video.
It was a great honor to nominate Colonel Zebley for the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame. When I read the criteria for the qualities of person that the Hall seeks to find, I saw each and every aspect of what an ideal nominee would be, certainly exemplified by who Colonel Zebley is each and every day.
I would say Melissa in general is probably one of the most selfless people I know. You know, one of the things I've referenced throughout my career is a Maya Angelou, part of one of her poems was, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if Melissa Zebley is talking to you, speaking to you, if there's something going on with your family, you know she cares. She takes the time to go down and talk to everyone. And when you come across her, I think you realize that it's almost like there's no one else in the room, there's no one else in the building, and she really cares about your well-being. It's not just a superficial hello.
Colonel Zebley has such an immense responsibility of representing every woman and man that wears a Delaware State Police uniform, yet she still finds time within that very aggressive schedule to be very purposeful about other things that are important to our community. You know, one example of that is her dedicated support to Camp Barnes. Camp Barnes is an unbelievable place in Sussex County where they certainly host a very significant number of kids throughout the summer months and bring them in, provide activities, and certainly have a really deep, rich history as they recently celebrated their 75th anniversary of giving back to the community. And as Colonel Zebley sits on that board, she's extremely passionate about how she can best support Camp Barnes.
For her, her legacy is not just with the state police and to achieve that rank, but more so all of the people that she was able to help lead and mentor along the way. She has always had an open door, open phone call. I will meet with you wherever, whenever, to help you.
Colonel Zebley was our first female superintendent in the 100-plus year history of the Delaware State Police. She's done so with certainly pride and dignity, and she certainly assumed that responsibility during one of the more difficult times for law enforcement as an industry. You know, we were in the wake of a global pandemic, certainly dealing with social unrest in the wake of adverse national events, but she did so by leading with compassion, with empathy, with care, and she became that leader that all of our troopers at every rank could look toward and know that they in fact had her support during a challenging time, and certainly created the opportunity for us to really emulate who she is in the way that we provide service to the citizens of the state of Delaware, and she did so very successfully.
For her groundbreaking service to Delaware and dedication to protecting our state, we ask that Melissa join us on the stage to accept her induction into the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame.
Good evening. I am abundantly grateful and humbled to be in your company and share this evening with the women in the class of 2024 receiving this prestigious honor. Thank you to Danny and Laura for your kind words and for the contributions from retired Detective Bill Chapman, retired Colonel Coop, and Lisa Smith from Special Olympics Delaware, for the written reflections that accompanied Lieutenant Colonel Meadows' nomination. Certainly, thank you to Danny, not merely for the nomination, but for being by my side for the last 4 years, to include countless critical conversations, heartfelt counsel, laughter, and what is undoubtedly a lifetime of friendship. Thank you. You innately realized that I greet you tonight as the final recipient on this wonderful evening as a byproduct of my last name. Thank you, ma'am. A name that I proudly wear and that accompanies my badge on the outside of my uniform every day. As I often say, I am a Z by design. As a quiet, shy kid, my family can attest to that. That Z generally meant the seat in the rear of every classroom, happy to be called on last, or perhaps the opportunity to get the last word. From that, the attributes instilled in me were patience and an appreciation for listening with the purpose of learning. So as we listened to the amazing accomplishments of the women being recognized tonight, I can promise you that it is an honor for me to count my last name among yours. Across the broad spectrum of women who preceded us, I have friends and mentors and count you all as a source of inspiration. And that includes my new friend, Dr. Tufo, who called me to make me not only aware of my selection, but in fact my nomination. So thank you for that. And to the members of the Office of Women's Advancement and Advocacy. This experience and this evening affirmed to me that this is not merely a moment, it is momentum. My life's foundation was built by my parents, siblings, and extended family. As the youngest of 3, I came, well, last. That was my training ground, and my brother will know this, for listening and learning. I am joined tonight by my brother, my sister-in-law, as well as the architects of our family, the most amazing people in any room they enter, my parents, Jack and Diane. True story. With their fathers, who were both in the Wilmington Police and Wilmington Fire Departments respectively, Jack and Diane instilled in us a noble work ethic, the necessity to develop fortitude, to keep faith, and to live your life with the virtues of humility and honor. I thank them for both for shaping my character and encouraging me to chase my dreams. While supported by an amazing family, I'm also blessed to be surrounded by a formidable group of friends. 3 of them are here tonight. Laura, who you heard from, Bree and Jodelle, you are women who fill my soul. Your courage in your own work inspires me every day, and dares me to believe that all of my goals are possible. Thank you. With those values in my heart and these people in my life, I was called, much like my colleagues in the room, that sea of suits that were mentioned earlier, to live a life of public service. And the Delaware State Police is where we also call home. The first faces I met on that journey in the summer of 1992 were my amazing classmates in the 61st DSP recruit class. The fine group that you probably purposely sat by the rear exit. Some of them are here tonight, including our drill instructors. For reasons we all understand and know well, our class slogan was simple and pragmatic: rock. We know why, but in my opinion, it defines our 32-year relationship. We have been a rock for each other throughout the academy and throughout our careers. The successes, setbacks, heartaches, and happy times. We have a shared identity that I treasure, and I thank you for being here. From those earliest days until what are too quickly becoming my last, I have held various assignments around our state, and on every occasion, I have witnessed firsthand the selfless commitment and courage of the women and men in the DSP family. I am grateful for every member who has lit the path for me, including many women before me and the many who are in this room, those who have challenged me and those who have believed in me. A seminal moment was being selected to join the executive staff during Colonel Coop's tenure as he was assembling his team. Sir, by selecting me, you knew you would be challenged and I would be tested. I thank you for the handwritten note I still have that you gave me 14 years ago as a reminder that for anything I may accomplish, in your words, I owe no man. Thank you for the influence you've had on my life. That influence extends to your successor, Secretary McQueen. Through your term, sir, we shared long, genuine conversations, successful agency innovations, unimaginable loss, and enhanced our capability to rise back up and meet every moment with dignity. Thank you, sir. As colonels, we work in concert with the Troopers Association leadership. In every meeting we've ever had, the prevailing conversation centers on enhancing the safety and support of troopers so that they can continue to serve with distinction. I thank them for being here tonight and for the cavalry of troopers that they brought here to support me. Thank you all very much. Most notably, I offer my gratitude to the executive staff and administrative team who I am surrounded by every day. You are an amazing group of people. You are talented troopers and professionals who give every measure of effort to support, train, champion, and lead the DSP family. We are all the witnesses to the valor, compassion, and commitment of divisional members who we know not only protect people they have never met, but more often than realized, they reach into their hearts and often into their own pockets to support individuals in need. Being a trooper is so much more than law enforcement, and that mentality starts with each of you. It is a blessing for me to close my career in your company, and I am certain that the future of the DSP will be exceptional under your care. As my career nears its final days, I approach it with gratitude. The blessing of a full career is a treasure that not all of our fellow troopers have had, as they have given the full measure of sacrifice. Speaking for and about our fallen heroes and their families has been one of my greatest honors and responsibilities. I thank Mrs. Eleanor Allione, my friend, and our president of the Delaware Cops for being here tonight. I pledge that my support does not cease in retirement, so save a seat for me. The influence of the people in my life, along with the values of humility, honor, patience, listening, and lifelong learning, prepared me to lead. For me, this is an honor bestowed upon my family, both born and sworn, past and present. This acknowledgement also shares their last name, their sacrifice, and their commitment to this state. So, while on several occasions in my professional life, I have had the opportunity to become the first within the Delaware State Police, the real accomplishment is that I know I will not be last. On behalf of the women and men of the DSP, thank you all, be well, and stay safe.
Thank you, Colonel Zebley. And thank you and congratulations to all of our inductees. To our audience, we thank you for being with us for the 43rd Annual Delaware Women's Hall of Fame. And thank you to my team for putting this all together. I appreciate you oh so much every day. This concludes our event. Good night and safe travels home.